Hey YouTube, how's it going? Today I got a Chaos Agent deck build for you. This deck, a few words for it. It's pretty consistent. It brings out big boss monsters very easily and pretty much at will. So it's a pretty good deck in my opinion. I would like to begin with 3 Master Hyperions. The main beat stick of the deck. It is very easy to bring out with your agents. Good, nice 2700 attack monster, which is never a big issue in Yu-Gi-Oh! Then your 2 Agent of Mystery Earths. This card is probably your best searcher of the deck. It can search out for any agent in your deck, which is really nice, and the fact that it's a tuner is really nice for some of your synchro plays. Then 3 Agent of Creation Venus. This card is probably the best card in the deck, maybe for my opinion, because it makes it really easy to bring out your Hyperions and your Mystical Shine Balls to bring out some really nice synchro plays that this deck can do with Janixi, Birdman, and Earth. And along with that Venuses, you have your 3 Shine Balls. So, kind of key to the deck if you want to be able to use Venus. And then for the synchro plays and dark monsters, we got 2 Janixi Birdmans. This card is pretty much a mandatory card for the deck, I would probably say. It's really nice with the Venus play, which I'll show it in the video later on after the deck profile. We have 2 tour guides. Good dark monster, lets you special summon, level 3 or lower fiends, which are those 2. Sangan, Night Assailant. They are both really good in the deck because if you draw them, either one of them, you just set them, they attack into it, either you destroy a monster with Night Assailant or you search with Sangan, so it's really nice. And then for the heavy back row format, I run at 2 breakers. I think it's pretty much mandatory for the deck in this format because of all the back row heaviness that Konami has put on us. And then 1 Kaiku, so that way 1800 attack is pretty high for level 4 monster, so they can get over most cards your opponent controls that they can just normal summon, so it's really nice because it banishes 2 monsters in their graveyard, or 2 cards, I can't remember exactly. And then you run 1 Spirit Reaper. This card I've heard should be replaced by Marshmallow many times because Marshmallow, it's better, everything like that. But I think having a dark is a lot more important than having a light fairy type monster for Master Hyperion's effect, because Spirit Reaper I think stalls a little less nicely, I guess, because Marshmallow, when it flipped by attacking monster, your opponent takes 1000 damage, which is really nice. But I think that's a little better. And then since you have so many lights and darks, why not run Chaos Sorcerer and BLS? Really nice card. I know BLS is pretty expensive still, but hopefully you were able to pull one or trade for one or buy one somehow, because it's a really good card. And I don't think it'll be hit by the ban list, but I would not mark my words. And then 1 Honest and 1 Maxi for windups, and then for getting over any attacking monster that would attack my light monsters. And then onto spells and traps. 1 Pot of Duality. It adds a lot of consistency for most decks like this one, so it's pretty key. 1 Mind Control is pretty key because you run so many tuners. It's really nice to take one of your opponent's monsters and synchro with it, which they do not expect most times. Then your Monster Reborn, Dark Hole, and your Heavy Storm are pretty much staples in any meta deck, or any deck for that sake, in this format. And then your Book of Moon and your Mystical Space Typhoon, because you can. They are both very good at getting rid of cards and plays that your opponent does. And to finalize the spells, got 1 Allure of Darkness because you run so many dark monsters in the deck. It's really nice to be able to get a draw 2 off of it. I almost always activate this card when I've already gotten my Sangan Search or my Tour Guide to Tour Guide for something. off, because it's really not nice to have that happen and you have to discard your entire hand. So I would only run that when you have enough dark monsters. And then for traps, you got Torrential, Bottomless, and Solemn Warning for your negation of summons, pretty much. I mean, it's pretty good, I would say. Possibly take out a card for another Torrential, because I've learned Torrential is really nice in this deck. And to negate attacks, you got your two cards for that: Dimensional Prison and your Mirror Force. I think these are both really good cards. I would recommend definitely main decking one of each. And your Solemn Judgment to negate monsters, or spells or traps being activated, or monsters being summoned, which is really nice. Your opponent doesn't always really expect it, because you're only allowed to run one, so it's pretty good. And then how about we get on to the extra deck. For level 2s, I run Gachi, Daigusto Phoenix, number 96, Dark Mist. These are all brought out with my Venus, because Venus is probably the best card in the deck, I would say. Not necessarily the best card, but the best card to set up plays. It's really nice to be able to get over anything you need to get over. So I would definitely run Venus if you run those. And then for level 3s, you run number 17 Leviathan, Wind Up Zen Mains, and one Leviair. Leviair, I like to search for my agents a lot of times when they're banished, because of Hyperion being special summoned by his effect. Wind Up Zen Mains, when you go Tour Guide to Tour Guide, or Tour Guide to Sangin, or Night Assailant, or something like that. It's really nice to be able to Ixie into to get a nice stall going. And Leviathan Dragon it's really nice to go to Tour Guide, detach a Tour Guide to special summon BLS or something by banishing a Light and a Dark. It's really nice to get your Darks in your grave, or your Lights somehow with 2 Venuses, or something along those lines. And then for rank 4, Utopia and Maestroke. These are really good cards. I think you should definitely run one of each, and only one of each, because you run a fair amount of level 4s in the deck, but you pull out level 2s and level 3s a lot easier, I think. So, I mean, I would only run. And because you run so many level 8s, I run 2 Heliopolis, because you pull out 8s really easily, and it helps you clear up the field so you can attack for a game, or for whatever you need to do. I would only run 2, and probably not more than that, and possibly even one less. It kind of depends on your personal opinion on it, and I would definitely take this card out for another Daigusto Phoenix or another Synchro Monster, because 3 level 8s is kind of hard to get in this deck, and you do not want to put them in as an Ixie monster, unless you can, I don't know, make magic happen or something. I don't know, but I would not probably run that. The extra deck. And then for Synchros, I only run 4. You run Catastor, because it's probably the best level 5 other than Xian, but Xian's hard to get out in any other deck. And then 1 Gaia Knight, 1 Scrap Dragon, and 1 Stardust. Those are my 4 Synchros. I would probably run a Black Rose or a Scrap Dragon if I had any, because they are really good Synchros. And then onto the side deck. My locals, I mean, they love their back row, so a lot of these are based on their back row. So that's why I run cards like Reiko. Set it face down, they might think it's a Sangin or a Night Assailant or something, so they may not be expecting it, but you flip it, destroy one of their spells or traps. Probably macro in most cases when I side this in, because my locals love elemental heroes for some reason, I don't know why. And then 1 DD Crow for Dark Worlds especially. There are a lot of Dark Worlds at my locals. This is really useful against their Grapha and banishing their brows and stuff, or not their brows, their beige and stuff, so they don't get to special summon back if they have a Grapha in the grave. And then for wind-up, since they're really pain, 1 Penguin Soldier and 1 Snowman Eater. Just because I know these are good cards and people do not like going against them. And then, especially for wind-ups, I run 2 Maxis, and 2 Effect Veilers. Effect Veiler is a light monster, so it's really nice to pull off your light and dark plays, and maxi, you know, nice draw power for the deck. And then 2 Lila, Lightsworn Sorceress. This card's really good for back row. You normal summon it, switch it to defense to destroy 1 set, spell, or trap, or face up. And end phase mill 3. And so it's really nice. It gets you a fair amount of cards in the graveyard. I would probably not recommend main decking this card, just because for how many spells and traps I have in this deck, you almost always mill some. And then, I don't know why I'm not main decking this, but I have it in a side deck. It's 1 Agent of Miracles Jupiter. I would probably switch in this in the main deck if I were to do this video again, because this card is really nice. It gets you to a 2600 beat stick, which is fantastic for a level 4. So, I mean, I would definitely recommend running this in your main deck. And it's really nice because it's an agent, and you can search for it with Earth, or you can banish it with Master Hyperion. So, I think it's a really good card that should be main decked. Then I run 1 creature swap because there are a lot of monsters that your opponent would rather choose level 2s or 3s or something. And I would love to steal those and then synchro with them, which is really nice. Gets rid of some of their monsters they control, like a Sangan or something, if they have to give it to me, other than like Abyss Megalo or something, you know, I would be perfectly fine with that. And then your 2 MSTs to finish off your playset, just because back row is kind of heavy in this format, and to finish off your 1 Solemn Warning. So I think I'll get on to the cool synchro play. So these are the cards you need for that cool synchro play in Ixie. It gets you a nice 7,500 attack on the field, which is really good for a final blow or something like that. And with this card right here, it makes a really nice final kill. So there we go. Let's get to it. Let me just get set up quick. So yeah, if you have any comments or recommendations for the deck, I would be more than willing to listen to them, and definitely consider them, because I have liked this deck and it's really fun to play and it's pretty consistent. So exactly. So then, one more card. There we go. So there we go. All you need in your hand for this big synchro play is Venus and Gen XI Birdman. The one thing you can't have are your Mystical Shining Balls to be in your grave, because then this thing will not work as nicely as it's supposed to. So what you do, you normal summon your Venus, pay your 1,500 life points, special summon 3 Mystical Shine Balls. Then what you do is you activate Gen XI Birdman's effect, adding 1 of these to your hand to special summon him out. Then you pay another 500 with Venus, special summon that same Shine Ball. And then what you do is you synchro for 8, your Birdman, your Venus, and 1 of your Shine Balls. Synchro for Stardust. And then with your 2 extra Shine Balls right there, you just go into a nice Daigusto Phoenix. Activate Daigusto Phoenix's effect, targeting Stardust, so it can attack twice this turn. And there you go. You got attack twice for 5,000 and 15. So, I mean, it's a really good play. A lot of times, I like to possibly wait on this to banish him to bring out Hyperion, Master Hyperion, to be able to get the last little bit. And with Master Hyperion, always being able to banish your extra Shine Balls and stuff that are in the grave because of the synchro play to open up the field is really nice. So, like I said, if you guys have any questions or comments for the deck, please feel free to throw them in the video comments. We'll probably have some more videos on our channel probably within the month or within a couple months. My brothers are going back to school pretty soon, so we're not going to have a lot of time to record, but it'll probably be me for a little while, recording some of my decks. And so yeah, If you can please give this video a like and a favorite, that'd be really nice, and subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh videos. Thanks, guys.